What's up, guys? It's Ryan, Ron and Crystal's Reviews, and today is the first official episode of the Throwback Issues Thursday. As you can tell, not in the normal setting. I'm actually sitting outside the salon as Crystal is getting her hair colored. So, sitting here in the truck, but it's going to be a while for her to get it colored. I didn't want to miss tonight's episode, so here we are. So, I'm going to run through. I got a big stack of books. I got a big stack of books here. I got a whole stack of some SpiderMan, a couple keys, some Eternal stuff, and then a couple key books that we're going to go through there as well. So first up, and you know, as I talked about last night, this is kind of a new series, play on the old series of the Saturday night comic show. This has now become the Saturday night comic show, but it's the Throwback Issues Thursday show. So, one of the first books that I'm going to show here is I didn't even really know much about this book. I didn't read this book when it came out. I think it came out in like somewhere around the 2000s, I think. Oh, way off, 1991. So this is Ghost Rider, Wolverine, and Punisher, Hearts of Darkness. Get the in focus there. So we got that one. And then we've got Hell's Angel, number 3, co-starring the X-Men. And we got a couple of these books. This was another book that I didn't really know much about. I think this is like volume 2. This is Nick Fury versus S.H.I.E.L.D. This is book 4 of 6. And then we've got book 2 of 6. Some really cool artwork on this one. And these are pretty thick. These were $350 back in 91. $350, that was a lot to pay. Or actually 1988. So $350 for a comic in 1988. That was pretty high. There are looks like to be 0 ads in these. It's more of a actual book than it is really a true comic. It's pretty thick, as you guys can see there. So there's 6 books there, and I picked all these up out of a lot off eBay. So a lot of this stuff was just kind of random. So that was book 2. So there's book 2 and book 4 I haven't read those. I'm interested to read those and see what they're about. So the next book is the official Marvel Index to the Avengers, number 6. And a lot of you probably have seen these books. So these are kind of a little bit of just a short synopsis of a certain issue. So this is like issue 115. It's got a short synopsis on it. And then it's got Defenders 8 is in here for some reason. Defenders 9, 10. So it could be talking about the Defender War. I'm not really sure. Yeah, so it shows, Avengers 109 to 126, Giant Size Avengers 1, and Defenders 8 through 11. So it kind of hits on each one of those, tells you who wrote it, penciled it, etc., the story, guest stars, cameo appearances, a synopsis. So it's kind of a cool book. Those are neat books to have if you're obviously it's nice to have the actual comics, but then you can just have those and you can just have a short summary of them. So next up is a X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men annual number 16. This was part of the Shatter Shot storyline. This is part 2 of that storyline that was going on. I thought I saw one other book in here that had that storyline on it, but we'll see. I think there was an X-Force annual in here. This is Avengers West Coast annual number 4. It's a really neat cover. So obviously the Avengers West Coast is the West Coast side of the Avengers team. So this one's got, Dagger, Scarlet Witch, Storm, She-Hulk, Invisible Woman, looks like Firebird. So there's a whole bunch of them on there. And then next up is Silver Surfer number 37. This is a cool cover. This has got Drax busting through what looks to be a wall at Silver Surfer. Star Fox is laying on the ground. And I think that is, I'm not sure who this is here in the corner, but he says, "Where is Thanos?" So that's a really neat cover. That was actually one of the books I saw, and I was kind of excited to get just because I like that cover. So this this next one, this is the Marvel Masterpieces collection. So this is a little bit different. This is number 2. So this isn't really a true comic. This is more of them drawing different characters throughout the pages. So as you can see here, here's Iceman and Speedball. So it's just it's just illustrations, a 1-page splash page illustration of each character. So you got like Typhoid Mary in here, Blob's in here, Ghost Rider, Apocalypse. You can see him there. So that's kind of neat. That was kind of a cool find. I actually didn't know those books existed. Next up is Wolverine and the Punisher. This is number 1 of 3. So this is actually a series I would really like to read. I've never read this series, and since there's only 3 books, they should be fairly easy to get. So you might see a couple more of those books pop up here. So the next book is The Spectacular Scarlet Spider. So Ben Reilly takes center stage in this one, and he's really not in here very much. It doesn't look like. Just skimming through. This is Spectacular Scarlet Spider. This is number 1. So it's the start of a new series. It's a pretty cool book. Oh, they got a preview for Venom Spider-Man Separation Anxiety, the SNES game on the back. That's pretty cool. Okay, here's the other. Actually, I think that's a repeat. Let's put that one. I actually got 2 of those X-Men Shattershot annuals. This was the other one I was talking about. So this is X-Force annual number 1. This is part 4 of that storyline. So that's a pretty cool cover. And I haven't read this story, so I don't really know much about it. So then next up is this is another pretty thick book. This was a $3.95 cover price, $19.90. So again, another book that would have cost a lot back then. So this is Deathlock, book 1 of 4. So you can see that there. That's a pretty cool cover. And then the last raw book, or not raw book, but unbagged book I have is Return of the Jedi, number 1 in the 4-issue limited series, the official comics adaptation. I know this book I think has kind of gone up in price in the last little few months, I think. I'm not really sure, but you know, so there's that. That's a pretty cool book there. Again, that was I'm not sure if I remember seeing that one on the lot listing, but that was kind of cool to find and have, just because, you know, it is what it is. It is a Star Wars book, Return of the Jedi. So that's always, the Star Wars comics are always kind of nice. I don't really collect them that much. I do like Star Wars, don't get me wrong. I just don't really collect them that much. So it's not really something that I go after, but it is, they are highly collectible, and a lot of those are worth a lot of money, especially Star Wars 1, especially the I think it's like the 35-cent variant or the 30-cent variant, whichever one is the variant price. That one's really, I've only seen 1 or 2 of those in my life. And then like First Han Solo, stuff like that. So those always go for a good little chunk of change. The next 2 set of books, so I got these in the same lot together. There's 9 books in total. They came together. They're full runs. They're a little more recent. It's part of the Ultimate storyline. So it's Ultimate Daredevil and Elektra, and then just Ultimate Elektra. So this is number 1. So Ultimate Daredevil and Elektra. And then here's number 2. That's a cool cover there. I know a lot of people really don't like Elektra as a character. A lot of people say she's boring. I've never really found her to be boring. She's not a phenomenal character by any stretch of the imagination. You know, she's not, you know, Captain America or Tony Stark or anyone like that. But at the same time, I don't I don't really think she's boring. I think sometimes the Daredevil Elektra storyline was really good in the Frank Miller run, and then it started to be kind of take on a whole nother level in some other books. And then of course the movie with Ben Affleck, I think it focused way too much on that love relationship, and I would have rather seen a lot more fighting. I've never actually seen the Elektra solo movie, so I have no idea if it's good or not. So here's number 3. It's a cool cover there with the ring of fire around them like that. And then this one looks like they're actually fighting in this one on the cover. This is number 4. And then the other side of it is, so like I said, these all came together in one lot, and I didn't really pay that much for them, so I thought it was a pretty good buy. This was Ultimate Elektra, so that first run was Ultimate Daredevil Elektra. This one is just Ultimate Elektra, so that's number 1. And then this cover is pretty cool. So this was the storyline on. They didn't have a storyline on Daredevil Elektra, but they didn't print it on the cover. This one was printed. Devil's Due is the storyline here, so that's part 1 through 5. Here's issue 2. So that's a pretty cool cover. And then you got issue 3. And then of course, issue 4, given that going back to that kind of love story. Some people kind of hate it, some people like it. It is what it is. Issue 4, and then finally, and this is a neat cover, the last one there, issue 5. So, like I said, all those 9 comics came in a lot together, so I figured that was a pretty good buy for what they were. You know, I mean, it's, you know, just, they're not, you know, those comics aren't, you know, worth a lot right now. You can get them for probably going to most retailers, most comic book shops, and find them for a couple bucks a piece or something like that. I think I got them for like $10 total. So basically $1 a book. That's not bad. And then we come to the Spider-Man portion. So I've got a few Spider-Man books here, Amazing Spider-Man, and one Spider-Man Unlimited, which has become a key book now. And then I've got a couple Eternals books that we're continuing on. I don't have any Avengers books with me today. I've got a few stacks at home. I'm not showing everything. I'm going to try to sparse out and try to shorten these videos a little bit. So next up is Spider-Man Unlimited number 1. And of course, this is the Maximum Carnage storyline. This is where it begins. And everyone's going crazy over Carnage right now because of the Venom movie. So let me try to get these in order. As I'm sure everybody knows, you know, that's the new hot thing is Carnage. And since he's going to be in the movie, you know, the Maximum Carnage storyline is arguably the best Spidey storyline. I mean, you could probably argue a couple other ones, but Maximum Carnage is kind of where it's at least that's one of my favorites. And you know, it's pretty tough to beat, and that's where it starts. And I actually picked up a few other Carnage books a couple weeks ago. I just, you know, kind of looked for them, and I happened to find 3 or 4 of them for cheap, so I bought them. So those will be coming up here soon too. So this goes back to Amazing Spider-Man now. This is Venom is included in this book. This is 345. So that's a neat cover. He's up here in the corner. And then we got 346. So I bought all of these Spider-Man books in a lot together, not including Unlimited number 1. And this is how they were shipped to me. They were double bagged, or not double bagged, double sided. I like this. This cover. This is an Eric Larson cover. This is 347. That's a pretty cool cover there. I think a lot of people have seen that cover before. That's a neat cover. And then we got 348. And then 349. And then 350. 351, and then 352. So it's a nice little run there of Amazing Spider-Man. I don't think I had any of those previously, so those are nice to put in my collection. Next up is a key issue, and I just happened to come across this book on happenstance. I was buying Red Sonja #1, Invincible Red Sonja #1 on one of my LCSs, and put it up on the table. The guy was going through the comics. He looked at it and he said, "Do you like Red Sonja?" I said, "Yeah, she's a fine character. You know, I was really getting it for the Linsner variant cover." But he goes, "Well, we just got a first appearance Red Sonja in. Would you like to look at it?" I'm like, "Yeah." So this is Conan the Barbarian #24. This is the first full appearance of Red Sonja. And you see right there by the tag, I only paid $80 for it, and they had it graded at a 6. It's got a couple issues, a couple breaks in the cover, but other than that, it's a nice book. And this is first full appearance, and then first cover appearance. So that's important to note. That's first full appearance because 23 is actually first cameo appearance. She's in the book in a couple, I think like one panel or two panels, really fast, and then that's her first full appearance. So that's a pretty key book right now. It's a pretty hot book with the movie being in development, being announced, and they've tied an actor to it, an actress to Red Sonja, who is, I believe it's the actress that played Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is going to be interesting to see how well she does, because I don't know how much fighting she did in Ant-Man and the Wasp, obviously because her face is covered for most of the fight scenes. I do remember her a few times having her mask off and going through the fight scenes, so it's going to be interesting to see that. So next up, we got some Eternals books, and of course, if you want, you can go check out my Eternals trailer review. We got the trailer finally, so I picked up a couple books here. I think there's some first appearances in here, but I don't have them earmarked for who's who, so I'm not going to try to butcher it. This is Eternals #8, so that's a good book there. I'm not sure. I think that's in a first appearance of Druig, but I could be wrong. Actually, I think 13 is. I don't know. I don't want to get into that because I'm not fresh on my Eternals first appearances. Here's number 9, as we are getting close to finishing this first run, first volume, and then number 11, and then finally number 13. Actually, I think this is first appearance of Druig, but I could be wrong. So then the last two books I got for you today, these two books I'm pretty excited for. These books are definitely key issues, and people have been specking on these books like crazy. And I was able to pick them up both for relatively cheap. It wasn't really even that much to get both these books, which was nice. So first up is, we'll do this one first since we'll stay in order. This is Marvel Comics Presents. Before Wolverine, there was Weapon X number 72. So obviously this is the first appearance in the beginning of the storyline of Weapon X. And a lot of people are specking on this book right now because, they're believing that this is how they're going to introduce Wolverine into the MCU. That we're going to see him be Weapon X before he's really truly Wolverine and part of the X-Men. They're trying to, I really feel they're going to slow burn the X-Men a little bit, and they're going to introduce the characters by themselves, and then we're going to start seeing them come to a team, or at least have the team, and then maybe see them recruit Wolverine, because in the comics, obviously that first team is Beast, Hank McCoy, where he's not blue and furry, Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Iceman, Angel, and I think that's it. And then, of course, Professor X. And then we see Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus show up, giant size X-Men #1, which happens around that 100, I think it's like 98, 97 issue, right around in there, where they join the team, or they start to become in that book. And it starts to become a little more popular book. Because that run there for a while, they were reprinting stories and kind of doing little side stories. So, and then the last book for tonight on Throwback Issue Thursday is number 73, which is the second appearance of Weapon X. So that's a really neat cover. I really like that cover. 1991. This would have been 1991 also. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with those, how they incorporate Wolverine into it, because obviously Hugh Jackman is, you know, to me, it's like Robert Downey Jr. doing Tony Stark. I mean, it's going to be hard to try to replace Hugh Jackman being Wolverine. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play that, and who's actually gutsy enough to step into that role, because you know instantly you're going to be compared to Hugh Jackman, and instantly there's going to be people that don't like you. I mean, look at Ben Affleck with Batman. You know, when he was announced as Batman, everybody hated it, and to me, Batman versus Superman, he was the best part of it, and he's been a phenomenal Batman this whole time. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Weapon X. So I appreciate y'all watching the video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching the official Throwback Issue Thursday video number 1. And so the next video up is tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's video is After the Pull Is Gone, where I'm going to talk about the books that you saw in yesterday's video, the new books. I've already read I'm about halfway through my reading. And I'm going to talk about each one of them. Kind of, as I said, I only had 8 books this week. I know it's not a large week. I know there's YouTube channels out there that show 30 or 40 books. That basically, I'm just not that. There's a lot of new stuff. I'm getting back into it. Maybe one day we'll get up to 20 books or 10 books or whatever it may be, 15, 20 books a week. But we're not there right now. So I appreciate y'all watching. Please like and subscribe. Crystal and I enjoy hearing from you in the comment section below, and we appreciate all the support. And we will see you tomorrow night for After the Pull Is Gone. Have a good night, guys.